Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am back with another student loan video, but this time we're just going through some recent updates on the student loan debt cancellation. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I am just so ready for this student loan debt stuff to happen and be over with so that I don't have to keep doing research on this because they keep changing things. So I will go through and do some research to film a video, and then a couple days later they change something, so I have to recheck back in. It's completely fine, like I'm happy to do that. I just, it's frustrating that they're doing this, and it's all like so last minute and unorganized, and it's not clear. So there's still not clear guidance, and I'm gonna go through what I am taking from what they're saying and try to break it down in the way that I understand it, but I don't even know. Some of this I don't know is 100% correct, or like how to best explain it and make it make sense. Before we get into those updates, the first thing I do want to mention is a correction on a mistake that I made in my recent student loan video about important dates in regards to the student loan debt cancellation. So in my video, I said that the last day to apply for student loan debt cancellation is December 31st, 2022. That is not correct. It is actually December 31st, 2023. So a full year later, that is when the application deadline is. As I said I made like a community post, and I said, if you're watching this, it's probably not going to be an issue for you, because I'm assuming most people who watch my videos are ready to apply, ready to go. You're going to apply as soon as possible, like I am, but I did say that incorrectly, so wanted to correct that. Next thing for recent videos that I filmed is the state taxes. So we don't have to pay any federal taxes on the cancellation, but there are some states that are requiring taxes to be paid on this. They're counting it as income. I made a video on that. I can link that down below. I have my handy dandy notebook here, by the way. There have been 4 states that have confirmed that they will be taxing the student loan debt cancellation, so just state taxes. So Indiana, Minnesota, Mississippi, and North Carolina. This may change, so again, I will make another update if that happens, but I think for now that is going to be the case for those 4 states. There are 3 states that are still deciding. That's Arkansas, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. Now, I don't think West Virginia was on the original list that I shared, so I think this was like added in. I'm not sure, but from what I see, these are the 3 states that are still deciding, so you may have to pay taxes on them, so just be prepared for that and be aware of this. And there was 1 state that was on the list that was still deciding whether or not they would be taxing the cancellation, and that's California. They will not be taxing the cancellation. So that's the update for that. There have been some updates to the student loan debt cancellation. The most recent was September 29th. So we're going to talk about those things. And as I said, I'm going to try to explain this as best as possible from how I understand it. I'm also looking at this website directly, and I can link it down below. But as I said before, I do not memorize this information, so I want to make sure I'm reading it correctly, and I'm just looking at this website. First thing I want to talk about are which loans are eligible, and they literally say, it says most federal student loans are eligible, and then they give a list. So undergraduate and graduate direct loans, that's the bulk of our loans. So luckily, many of us will not have to worry about anything else on this. I know that at least is the case for myself. I just have undergraduate and graduate direct loans, unsubsidized, subsidized, a mix of those, and those are eligible for the cancellation. Parent Plus and Grad Plus loans, those are eligible. Consolidation loans, this is federal consolidation loans. So if you have a private consolidated loan, that does not qualify. Also, if they are federally consolidated, they needed to be consolidated before June 30th. And the original loans needed to be with the education department. So if it's private consolidation, they are no longer federal, then that does not qualify for the cancellation. Or if you consolidated recently, so after June 30th, then you may not qualify for the cancellation. So any of the FFEL program loans that are held by the education department, this got a little bit confusing because there was a more recent change with the FFEL loans. I'm going to get into those loans in just a moment because those go along with another type of loan that falls under this new eligibility requirement. And that is Perkins loans. So Perkins loans held by the education department are also eligible, and then defaulted loans as well. If you don't know what type of loans you have, then definitely you want to know, so go to studentaid.gov. You can go under the section called My Aid and you can see a breakdown of your loans and determine if you are eligible or not. Hopefully they start making it more obvious who qualifies, who actually is eligible for these. Like if you have your list of loans, it will say eligible, not eligible. I hope that will happen because I think there's going to be a lot of confusion around this. Their wording, their language around this is very strange and hard to decipher. So yeah, they definitely need to clarify a few more things. As I said, there were some special changes with the FFEL program loans or Perkins loans. So yes, if you have FFEL loans and Perkins loans, you are eligible if they're held by the education department, so they are federal. But if they're not held by the education department, you cannot get the cancellation, you are not eligible. Now, for anybody who has FFEL program loans or Perkins loans and you chose to consolidate those into direct loans, or you have applied to consolidate those into direct federal loans before September 29th, 2022, then you are eligible for cancellation. I'm not sure how many people that applies to, like who will be eligible, but I saw that with this new change that for anybody with these loans not held by the education department, that reduced the number of people who qualify by 800,000. So 800,000 people now do not qualify for cancellation. It's unfortunate. It says here that they are assessing whether there's an alternative pathway to provide relief to borrowers with federal student loans not held by the education department. Obviously, there's no update on that, so they are discussing it, and I guess we'll hear about it soon. Okay, the big area of confusion for many people, including myself, is the outstanding balance date that they now have listed on the website, which sounds like this is the date where they're basing the cancellation off of, but at the same time it doesn't. So let me just read this to you. So it says the following types of federal student loans with an outstanding balance as of June 30th, 2022 are eligible for relief. And then it lists all those ones I went through. So to me, this language sounds like if you had an outstanding balance of student loan debt on June 30th, 2022, that determines your eligibility. But they don't say that specifically. So I don't know, it's really weird, y'all. And I'm really sorry that I don't have a straightforward answer, but they're not giving a straightforward answer. They're not like, this is the date that we are basing this cancellation off of. They're not saying that in clear language. So I'm just assuming like that's what it sounds like to me. They do go on to talk about refunds, and I thought this was interesting and surprising. So they actually talk about automatic refunds, and it says that you would get an automatic refund if you apply and you apply correctly and in time. And then the second part is, quote, your voluntary payments during the payment pause brought your balance below the maximum debt relief amount you're eligible to receive, but did not pay off your loan in full. So let's say you had $10,000 and since then you have paid $2,000 on it. So now your balance is $8,000, but you qualify for $10,000 of cancellation. So they will cancel that $8K, that remaining balance that you have, and also refund you $2,000. Again, the language isn't clear around this. So if I'm looking at this, if I'm reading this, it sounds like, okay, if I had $10,000 and I paid off $10,000, do I get refunded $10,000? I couldn't tell you 100% for sure. So it does go on to say that you can request a refund from your loan provider, but it doesn't make it clear if they're going to give that cancellation, or like when that date for eligibility is. You can still receive refunds on voluntary payments made after March 13th, 2020. And they say it's important to note that these refunded payments will increase your loan balance and your monthly payments. If you expect to have a balance after discharge is applied and wish to request a refund, you can do so by contacting your servicer until 2023. I don't know, like, again, I'm really, really sorry. I cannot decipher this. I have read this, I can't tell you how many times to try and understand, but between that June 30th date and then them saying that you're gonna get automatic refunds versus you can request a refund, they're not making it clear on what exactly this means. I hope that they will release more language around this that makes more sense, and I guess we will just find out in time. If you are somebody who requested a refund and are, you paid off all of your loans and are eligible for the cancellation, then please keep us updated. Let us know what actually happens. I talked about this in my refund video, like if you should request a refund or not. And it's up to you still, like you still want to just keep in mind the risks that come with that. So refunds seem to be taking a long time, and we don't exactly know what the date is that they're basing this cancellation off of, so for what you're eligible for. So if you request a refund but you don't get that money until, I don't know, February or March 2023, but payments resume, you are probably going to pay interest on the balance that you have, even though it was paid off before. I don't know if that's going to happen, like what the situation is going to be, but that is a risk that you are exposing yourself to if you do request a refund. You don't get the cancellation because it's based off of this June 30th date, and then the payments resume in January, but you don't have your refund check yet, or your money's not back with you, and you do need to pay these down, but you don't have that cash yet. So hopefully that makes sense, but just be careful and weigh your options there. See what you're willing to risk. It's completely up to you. They did list out how the debt is going to be applied to the loans. I thought this was interesting and actually a really great order of operations here. So obviously if you have 10K and you are eligible for the 10K, that's just gone. So that's great. But for anybody who has different types of loans, or loans with different interest rates, or graduate loans, unsubsidized loans, subsidized loans, undergraduate loans, etc. So this applies to you. If you have multiple loans, then this is how it's applied. So defaulted education department held loans, defaulted commercial FFEL program loans. Third is non-defaulted direct loan program loans and FFEL program loans held by the education department. Perkins loans held by the education department. So yeah, if you have any of those types of loans, that's the order that it's going. Some of these, honestly, I've never even heard of because I have like the basic plan. So I apologize if I am not giving enough info, but that's, if you have multiple loans, that's the order of it. This will be linked down below. You can read that again. And then for those of you who have multiple loans in a program type, so this is like for myself, I have undergraduate and graduate loans. Some are unsubsidized, some are subsidized. This is the order that they're going. First, they're going to apply relief to loans with the highest statutory interest rate. That is great. So this will save people even more money. Number two, if the interest rates are the same, apply to unsubsidized loans prior to subsidized loans. Again, very good thing. Number three, if interest rate and subsidy status are the same, apply to the most recent loan. I think those first two should knock out, like it should be a good order for most of you, and then it'll just kind of go in order from the most recent loan. Number four, if the interest rate, subsidy status, and disbursement date are the same, apply to the loan with the lowest combined principal and interest balance. So yeah, they're doing things in a great order. I think that's awesome. You do not get to change this. You don't get to pick and choose which order. So this is the order that they said that they're going to do it. I don't know if this will change, but I think this is a good plan overall and will help a lot of people. It's much better than them just randomly applying it, or it's much better than them just going to the lowest interest rate, which wouldn't help people. So very good. Plus, there's everything else with the debt relief plan. So if you're making your payments, you shouldn't be gaining more interest. So everything all together is going to benefit you, even if you have student loan debt after the cancellation. Final thing that I wanted to say is that you can opt out of this. There's an option to opt out of getting this cancellation. So I have seen some people say this is not fair, this shouldn't be happening whatsoever. My opinion of the student loan debt cancellation was different before this actually happened. I never said I would opt out of it though. Like if I am going to be offered 10K or 20K to be canceled for my student loans, I'm not going to deny that. I think that would just kind of be silly, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how many people are going to opt out of this. Some people may opt out so they don't have to pay state income taxes. That makes sense for some people because if they are on a public service loan forgiveness plan where their debt's going to be wiped out after 10 years working at a specific company or working in a specific industry, that cancellation may be happening soon for them or in the near future. With that type of loan forgiveness, you do not have to pay federal taxes or state taxes. So I can understand for that situation. I guess that's something to consider if you are in one of those states with state taxes and you work in the public service industry. But aside from that, I am curious to see if people will opt out of it just because, and how many people that will be. Those are the main updates that I have to share with you. Again, I am so sorry that I don't have the best answers for you. I don't understand this myself, and I consider myself pretty financially savvy, but the way that they explain this is just not clear. I have a feeling that they do that on purpose, so they want to keep us confused. They don't want anything to be set in stone so they can make changes later. I think that's why they're doing this. If any of you have further knowledge of this, please feel free to share, or if you understand it in a better way than I do, please comment that down below, and I will make sure to get that information out as best as I possibly can. I will keep making updates for this if there are any changes. Hopefully not too much else changes. If you have any questions, please comment down below. But otherwise, this will be linked down below. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.